If you want to become a better fighter in ranked, then you clicked on the right video, because I am one of the top ranked players in NA this season, and today I'm going to be showing you the 10 best ways to dominate every single fight in ranked. And I'm even going to show you the biggest mistakes you are making in ranked and how to fix them. And don't worry, every single technique I cover in this video is insanely easy to master. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code Farley in the Fortnite item shop. But now let's move on to the first way you're going to dominate every single fight in ranked this season, and as with predictions. Predictions are the easiest and most consistent way to full box and piece control your opponents. So an example on how to full box and piece control your opponent would be right here. As you can see, there are two people in front of me finishing up a fight, and I'm going to push up to the player that won the fight. Now when I do this, I'm obviously going to swing onto this ramp, and then I'm going to try and take this player's wall. Now most players would try and take the wall and then piece the player up, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold out a ramp and then a wall. What this is going to do is throw a ramp in the player's face, allowing me to grab control of his box. 90% of the time, the player is going to want to leave this box and create space. So what I'm going to do is put a wall to my left, and then I'm going to pre-piece the box next to him, so that by the time the player wants to edit out and create space, I already have control of that box. And from that point, all I have to do is easily hold out my crosshair, and I can pump the player and then pick up a free elimination. So if you want to start full boxing and piece controlling your opponents like this, look into their box, see if there's any piece control in there. If there isn't, you can throw a ramp in, pre-piece the box next to them, and then pick up a free kill just like this. Moving on, let's talk about the second best way that you are going to piece control and full box your opponent, and that is by cutting off angles. Cutting off angles is going to force your opponent into making mistakes, which you can counter on. So in this fight right here, as you can see, two other people are fighting in front of me, and I see one of the players build up on high ground. Now when this happens, I know the player's not going to be able to see me, so I'm going to hit a crash pad and land on his head. Now when I crash pad onto this player's head, I see him moving up to the left trying to ramp up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiff my shot because I'm garbage, but then I'm going to hold out a cone, and this is now going to block the player from going up on high ground. Now from this point, obviously the other player is going to be startled and he's going to want to jump into my face. So I'm going to pump sit and wait for the other player to edit on me. This is going to allow me to pump the player and get some opening damage. And after I get that damage, notice how I put a wall in front of me. This blocks his shot so I don't take any damage. After this point, the other player is going to run away and he's going to drop on the low ground and box up. So I'm going to get in front of the player with zone priority, cut him off, and then I'm going to start pressuring his wall. From this point, I'm going to block off my head while stealing the wall in front of me, and I'm going to edit on the player, but when I do, he puts a ramp in front of him and it looks like he wants to double edit up. So what I'm going to do is place a floor and a cone above me where the other player is, and then set up a double edit in that area. So when the player confirms the cone edit, he actually falls into my box. And from that point, it's a simple pump shot, and I can spray the player with my OXR rifle, and I'm able to pick up a free kill. So if you want to start winning fights in rank just like this, start reading your opponent's body movements so that you can cut them off and pick up free kills just like this. Moving on now, I want to talk about probably the most important part of this video that you need to learn, and that is the timing of your edits. If you can learn to perfect the timing of edits, you can catch your opponents off guard every single time, giving you free kills or free damage in general. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm up on high ground and another player is spraying me from below. Now while this is happening, I hear another player grapple onto height and try and third party me. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be greedy, I'm going to swap to my hard mats and I'm going to create a 2x1 of space. This is going to give me time to react to what the other player does. Now this player is up on high ground pressuring my roof, but eventually this player is going to push over to a different angle and he's going to grapple onto my wall. So when this player drops onto my wall and tries to swing on it, I'm going to time it perfectly to where I make a wide edit while the other player is swinging on the wall. What this is going to do is when the player is swinging the pickaxe, he's not going to be able to pull out a shotgun, and I'm able to pump the player and crack him. Now after I crack the player, notice how I reset the wall and then I hold the wall in the other player's face. This means that when he tries to shoot the wall and jump in, he can't because I'm holding the wall. From this point, he now has shotgun delay, so I can easily edit on him and pump him once more. This now is going to leave the player at basically 1 HP, so I'm just going to chase him down when he boxes up, and when he does try and pop his med, I'm going to jump into his box while holding out a cone to make sure he can't leave the box, and then I was just able to pump this player one more time, pick up the kill, and then create some extra space around it. So if you want to start catching your opponents off guard just like this, start using the timing of edits to properly catch your opponents off guard so that you can pick up free kills in rank just like this. Moving on now, I want to talk about the best way to fight against aggressive players when they're trying to jump into your box or 50-50 you in general, and that is by baiting your opponent to push you. Because when you do this, you can use their aggression against them to win fights. So in this fight right here, as you can see, I'm fighting another player and he's on high ground trying to push my wall. Now when this happens, my goal is to bait the player down to me so I can piece control him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the wall, and then I'm going to double edit down, and I'm going to swap my hard mats, and I'm going to create a 2x1 of space in metal. This is then going to bait the player to come and follow me. After I create this space, what I'm going to do to bait the player down is I'm going to fake tap my fizz and then pull out my gatekeeper. This is then going to make the player think I'm healing, so he's going to want to drop onto my wall. And since I know he's going to drop onto this wall right here, I'm going to edit the wall beforehand so I can line up my crosshair when he falls, and I can pump him and get some opening damage in the fight. From this point, I'm going to reset the wall and then edit the wall to my left to piece this player. I'm going to do that by editing and then placing a cone in his box. But when I do this, the other player shoots and steals my wall. So I'm going to wait for the player to edit, and then I'm going to steal the wall back when he confirms the edit because the wall will be weak. I can then edit on him, pump him once more, and then I can just spray him and finish off the kill. And after I pick up that kill, notice how I don't even go for the loot at first. I create space around me so I never get third-partied. So if you want to start winning fights in ranked against super aggressive players just like this, bait them down maybe with fake healing, and then you can pump them and then piece them up, giving you free kills. Now the next thing that you need to understand about fighting in ranked is every single fight in ranked is going to be different. But there's often a lot of common scenarios you're going to get into in ranked. And that's why you need to start noticing patterns in players and in fights in general so that you can piece them up and pick up free kills. For example, let's say you're fighting in ranked, your opponent is boxed up, and you look into their box and see if there's no cone in their box. If you know that, slide a ramp in and then pre-piece the box next to them so that you can kill them. The same goes if a player is boxed up and you see him trying to double edit up. Look in the direction he's going, cut him off, set up a double edit, and drop him into your box and pick up a kill. Or let's say in the two examples I've shown you in this video, a player tries to drop onto your wall. Start timing your edits perfectly and wait for the player to swing his pickaxe, and you can catch them off guard, picking up free kills in ranked. So it's really important that in this video you understand what situation you're in and what moves to use on your opponents to win fights in ranked. Moving on, now we're going to talk about the next part of the video, which is the 5 biggest mistakes you are making in ranked. And once I'm done showing you these mistakes, I'm going to show you how to fix all of them. Now the first and biggest mistake you are making in ranked is limiting yourself to 1 box of space when fighting. Alright, so an example of this mistake perfectly would be right here. As you can see, this is me sitting in a box right now, and another player is going to land on my head right about now. And I'm actually going to hear him get sniped. You can hear it right now. You can hear him get tagged. And as soon as this player does get tagged, you're going to notice he's running away, right? And he's going to grapple up. And obviously, he wants to pop his meds. But the big mistake he makes right now, if I go to drone free, you're going to notice he literally makes 1 box of space. If you make 1 box of space like this, any wall you were to pressure on, like let's say he's popping meds right now, right? And someone like myself comes up to his wall right now. Notice how I just sprayed on that wall, and he just had to pull out his builds. If you create a box like this, you'll never have time to med, because any wall I pressure, you're going to have to hold the wall instead of popping your meds. And that's exactly what happens right here, right? As soon as I see the player go up, right, I'm going to grapple up to him, I'm going to chase him down, and then I'm obviously going to spray the wall. Then I'm going to change angles so I'm not facing the zone, and then I grab the wall, and since he wasn't able to med, I already know he's weak, right? So I can just cone him off and then pump him and then kill him. So now that I've shown you this mistake, I'm actually going to show you how to fix it. Alright, so to fix this mistake, it's very simple. Let's say you're fighting in rank, you know, you're bloom battling somebody, or you're fighting somebody shotgun battle, and you get cracked, right? If you get cracked and you're like, oh, I gotta go med, I'm gonna make a 1x1 and start popping meds, you'll never have time to pop meds, because any of these walls, like let's say this wall gets sprayed, the guy on the outside like wants to take your wall, right? He wants to steal it. If you're on the inside, you'll never have time to med because you're gonna be too busy holding the wall. So instead of just sitting in a box like this and popping your meds, instead, let's say, oh, I get cracked, right? I'm blue battling, I get cracked. I'm going to swap to hard mats, and I'm going to create a 2x1 of space away from the player. Like if the player was over there, I'd create the 2x1 in this direction, right? So that I can play from the back box and pop my meds back here. This way, even if the player lands on my wall, in many videos I show you, if he lands on this wall, you'll have time to react because you're on a good peak. Or even if you don't want to peek the player, you have time and you can hold your wall from a good angle. So make sure you do this if you get cracked. Don't create 1 box of space, create a bunch. Moving on, now we're going to talk about the second biggest mistake you're making in ranked, and that is taking dumb 50-50s when fighting in ranked. Alright, so a simple example of making bad edits would be right here. This is me. As you can see, there's a player on low ground. I'm going to spray him, right? I get 2 tags on him. I basically have no guns at this point. I literally just respawned. I see a gun in front of me. I'm going to pick it up, obviously. And then I'm just going to push over to this player, right? Now, the mistake this player makes right here is, look, I'm only going to swing once and pull out my pump. And from the other player's POV, when I land on his wall, when I swing once, he just literally wide edits on me. And you're going to notice this edit right here he makes, it doesn't benefit him at all because it's not a right hand. It literally gives me the advantage because he, look, is still pulling out his pump and I've already shot my gun. And this means, obviously, he's already dead. And I picked up a kill even though I had 1 gun and only 1 bullet in my shotgun. So now that I've shown you this mistake, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So to fix this guy's mistake, let's say that was me right there in the fight earlier when this guy was boxed up, right? He was boxed up in this little box and he was popping meds. And when this player saw me on his wall right here in front of me, he decided, okay, I'm going to make this edit right here. This isn't a good edit because it literally gives me no advantage. This other player could see me and I can see him, but he has no shotgun delay because I'm the one editing, right? So instead of doing that, when I'm on this player's wall and I see him, I wouldn't want to edit here. Instead, I would make a right hand peek, or maybe even better, I go out this way and then I like piece him, right? And I wait for him to fall in my crosshair. That way I don't take a 50-50 and I can get the kill. So make sure when you're fighting in ranked and another player comes up your wall and he fake swings on you, don't just make a wide edit, right? Play smart, maybe make a window peek and then get a pump off. Moving on, now we're going to talk about the biggest reason that you get third-partied when you're fighting in ranked, and that is because you're not blocking off your back when fighting. Alright, so an example of this mistake in a rank game would be right here. As you can see, I'm up on high ground and I'm shooting a bunch of people on low ground, right? As you can see right now, if we go drone free, this is me up on high ground. There's one player boxed up here, another player on low ground right here through this wall, and then there's a final player that's going to be coming in and pushing through and trying to third party this guy right here. Now, when this player does push over, I'm pretty sure he's going to shockwave up here, right? Yep, and then he's going to drop onto this player's wall right here. But when he drops onto this wall, you're going to notice he doesn't block off his head and he doesn't block off his back, which means, as you can see right up there, I'm about to have an angle on the player. And you're going to notice when this guy goes over, right, and he's going to push up to this guy's wall, not only is he going to get shot by me, but he's also going to get shot by the other guy at the same time, meaning he takes a bunch of unnecessary damage, and if he didn't get hit by me, who knows, he might have actually won that fight and not died. So now really quickly, I'm going to show you how to fix the mistake this player made when fighting. Alright, so to fix this mistake is very simple. Let's say the player that we were looking at earlier is down on low ground fighting this guy, and I was originally in the video up here trying to shoot the other player. Now, if you're this guy and you're pushing onto this wall, first off, you probably shouldn't be in this position. But if you are, all you have to do is just create a box around the other player that you're fighting. And now that this is built up, now you can go steal the wall, edit, and pump the player, right? And that kept me safe from the other player third partying. So make sure even when you're going up to the player and you know no one's around you, still block off your back so that when you fight the player, no one else can third party you. And that way, you and the other player can take a clean fight. Another big mistake a lot of players are making in ranked is not incorporating your movement when editing, because this will leave you exposed and you'll die. Alright, so an example of this mistake is right here. As you can see, I'm boxed up, right? And there's one player above me. He's going to spray in, I'm going to hold the wall, and I'm going to chill, right? But when this player jumps out, obviously, I'm going to chase up to him, right? I'm going to double it up. Now, when I push up with this player, you're going to notice he has the wall in front of me right here, and he's actually going to make a edit, which actually isn't a terrible edit. But the problem is he doesn't incorporate his movement. See how he's standing right here on the wall? Instead, if he edited the wall and swerved to the left, he may have had a chance of winning the fight because he'd be on a right-hand peek. But when you 50-50 like this, you're obviously at a disadvantage because he's holding out an AR, and I have a pump, obviously, and more health. So I can obviously just hit him once and kill him. So now that I've shown you this mistake, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Alright, so this is the same situation right here, right? Imagine this was me, and I'm editing up through. This is who we're going to think is me right here. And the other player gets the wall in between me and him, right? And he wants to make the edit, right? Like, let's say he confirms the same edit he did. Obviously, standing here, this isn't good because the other player would be able to easily see you. So instead, if you were to make this edit, you probably shouldn't be making this edit in the first place. Probably shouldn't be making like a window edit or anything like that. But if you're making any edit in this direction, as you're making the edit, you need to move to the left. So when you confirm the edit, you have a right-hand peek. If you're standing over here when you confirm the edit, you're obviously exposed. So any edit you make, swing to the left. So now you have a right-hand peek, and now you can pump the player instead of standing right in front of the player. Now, the final and biggest mistake you are making that is probably making you get piece controlled up like a bot this season is because you're not placing a cone in your box. So an example of this mistake is right here. As you can see, this is me, and then this is the player up in front of me. I see him boxed up, obviously, and the first thing I notice is I look into his box right here, because you can see through the build, and I look, and if we go drone free right now, you'll see that there's no cone, there's no ramp in his box, right? If there's no ramp in your box, or there's no cone in your box, instead of taking the wall, a lot of people will know now to break the wall, and then they'll also throw a ramp in at the same time. And that means not only do they grab control of the wall, they also grab control of your box that you're standing in. So from that point, you're basically cooked and you're going to die like this player does. And from my POV, you're easily going to be able to see I'm able to grab the wall, flip the ramp, and then I pump him once, and then I just break out the ramp, replace it with a cone, and then I kill him. So now that I've shown you someone making this mistake, I'm going to show you how to actually fix it. Now this is probably the easiest mistake to fix, but it's probably the easiest habit to fall short of, because a lot of people are too focused on the other player. Like let's say I'm build fighting, right? I'm boxed up and I'm too focused on the other player. I might forget to actually put a piece in my box, whether it's a cone or it's a ramp. Anything like this is super important, because if you don't, as I've shown in the examples, if someone's breaking underwater here and they break it, they can slide a ramp in your face. And from this point, right, you're cooked, because now you're like, oh shoot, I gotta leave the box. And when you do, obviously they're already gonna have the box pieced, or they already know where you're going, so they could just pump you. Now that is going to wrap up this video, so if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm also going to be going back to every other day uploads, so stay tuned for that. And YouTube says you'll probably enjoy one of the 2 videos on screen, so go check those out. But with that, I'm out. Peace.